Hello everybody and welcome to Legal Studies Unit 4, Area of Study 2, The People, the Parliament and the Courts, Part 4. The focus of today's video is .point 4, factors that affect the ability of courts to make law, including the doctrine of precedent, judicial conservatism, judicial activism, costs and time in bringing a case to court, and the requirement for standing. Since we have already looked at the doctrine of precedent in a previous video, we'll begin by looking at judicial conservatism and judicial activism. Judicial conservatism is when judges say what the law is and apply it to cases that come before them. It involves the belief that any changes to the law should be made by Parliament, and it is not the role of judges to change the law or say what they think it should be. Conservative judges are heavily influenced by the separation of powers and see the judicial role as distinctly separate from the lawmaking role of Parliament. Conservative judges are reluctant to make decisions that will lead to significant changes in the law and argue that judges should only make minor, incremental changes to existing laws to maintain certainty and stability. These judges argue that Parliament is better suited to making laws given its extensive resources and representative nature. Judicial activism is when judges exercise the ability of courts to develop common law in line with social change. These judges are often known as being progressive. These judges believe that the courts have a role in changing and updating the law, particularly in areas where Parliament has failed to act. These judges are not heavily influenced by the separation of powers, and they believe that they have a role in changing laws in order to be in line with the current changes in society. These judges are unlikely to apply out-of-date precedents. So what does this all mean for lawmaking? Ultimately, conservative judges are less likely to make laws, whereas active or activist judges are more likely to make laws in order to align with the views of society. Costs and time in bringing a case to court. Taking a case to court can be extremely costly. This may deter litigants who cannot afford these costs and do not qualify for legal aid. This may impact lawmaking as the courts can only make laws when they have a relevant case before them. There are many types of costs, including legal practitioner costs, as well as court fees. However, for the purpose of this video, we will be looking at legal practitioner costs. Parties are likely to need legal representation to prepare and present their case in court. Barristers, who speak on behalf of parties in the courtroom, range from approximately $3,000 to $20,000 per day, depending on their experience and their qualifications. The average person will probably not be able to afford these fees and may not qualify for legal aid. These people are referred to as the missing middle. This can be problematic as parties may be left to represent themselves and therefore may be significantly disadvantaged. This can be an advantage for the courts, however, as frivolous claims are likely to be discouraged. It may also encourage parties to resolve matters through alternative dispute resolution methods such as mediation, conciliation, or arbitration. Looking at time, once a case reaches the courts, judges can make decisions relatively quickly to resolve the dispute. Court backlogs, however, can add to the delay of taking a case to court. Cases that are heard on appeal can take months to be reviewed. Generally, the higher the court, the more complex the dispute and the longer the trial. A final determination as to what the law should be may not be reached until after a case has been heard on appeal. And what does this mean for lawmaking? This means that it may take years, meaning that the law can be slow to be changed through the courts. That concludes today's video. I hope that your knowledge of .point 4 from Unit 4 Area of Study 2 has been consolidated As always, if you do have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below or send me an email. Also, don't forget to subscribe to be notified about future uploads. Thank you.